Matt in the chat says it the best. Let's make some money today, crew. You're damn right. What's good, everybody? Welcome into Driving the Line. We lock it down 6 days a week live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'm your boy, the coach, and I try to drive this bus, and we have arrived. It's hard to believe. Week 3 of the National Football League season. We have 9 undefeateds today. 4 of those will face off against each other. Here on the Sunday morning NFL show, it's all football all the time. We don't waste your time because we know it's very, very valuable. Now, as always, we always like to take a look back to see how we did the previous day. As I like to say, kind of a ho-hum day yesterday. A few check marks, a few too many X's, but sometimes that happens when you lean into certain games. Kansas State, what are you doing last night? Raphael bragging about +7 BYU, one of the worst 5-minute stretches of college football I've ever seen. But on the flip side, you know you got some happy people this morning because the Tennessee Volunteers looked great. We're going to talk all about it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's bring in 2 of my absolute very best. My partner, AB, our 5-tool player, and the man who shows up every single day live from the Dirty. And I got to tell you, Charles, this morning, I've already hit both teams to score. Brighton, Nottingham Forest. Let's go. Are you talking to me or what?
Very nice, Coach. I know that's next level, so I'm ready to get into this NFL also. So, yeah, big card in both sports. So, yeah, big day.
Yeah, I may have had a little Monaco over 2.5 personally as well. Now,
It's
you see
looking
that
good.
man in the middle right there? You see that man in the middle right there? Last night, his Volunteers, and I don't care what you say about fandom or being a fan, that comes first in the DTL universe. And AB, I just want your thoughts. Your Volunteers went into Norman, hostile environment, and they just wore them out. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Big Chuck. Good morning, crew. Yeah, Tennessee looked great last night. You know, and honestly didn't even really have to play offense. And I credit Josh Heupel for understanding that it would be easy to be greedy and go in and say, you know what, I want to score 100. But that isn't what's important. What was important was winning the game. And they said, we're literally not even going to play offense. We're just going to punt to you because our defense is better than our offense. And it proved to be true. It was right. I mean, just handle it front to back. It was a great win.
They wore them out so much that Oklahoma changed quarterbacks, and the backup who came in actually played pretty good. But
he did.
It was ultimately too late, you know? I thought it was going to be one of those awful backdoor covers because I think I bought it down to like 4.5 or something like that. So I was like at -140. But when they scored that touchdown and then they cut it to 10, I was like, this is how my life goes. They're going to go 3 and out. They're going to last second, but they didn't do that. Thank goodness. So how do you feel about Tennessee moving forward now? You've still got Georgia and Alabama on your slate.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'd be hard to say that you feel nothing but great, right? I mean, you've got 2 top 25 wins now, both of them on the road. Got a bye week coming up this week, which is great because they play Arkansas afterwards. So you kind of dissipate that trap game, right? And then, hey, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, let's go. You want to fight? Let's go, dog.
Right? Now, your other one, and Chuck, I don't mean to leave you out of this, but it seems like the entire college football world revolves around Tennessee because Missouri, they're a top 10 team. They've got taken to overtime last night by who, AB?
Them Vandy boys. Who you with? BU.
They couldn't get it done because they missed a 35-yard field goal in overtime, but they got there. Missouri, you better wake up. This is the SEC. All right, gentlemen, it's also Sunday mornings, and Howie Schwab would have loved every single Sunday morning, and I'll be damned if we don't remember him every single day. What are the selections today that we get to play together, AB?
Young Howard Schwab looking fantastic there as always, all right? Big game here. 4 options from it, all right? Ravens at the Cowboys. You go to Ravens -1, Cowboys +1, Ravens Cowboys over 47.5 or under 47.5. Polls in the chat. Vote now. We'll update as we always do at the end of the show.
And as AB always tells you, hit that like button when you come in. It really helps the show grow, helps our algorithm. Please help us do that because we continue to grow one step at a time. All right, let's get into our games for the day. As I mentioned, 9 undefeated, 5 in the AFC, 2 in the AFC West, including Sunday Night Football tonight. Chiefs Falcons, we've got DTL Primetime Live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Stadium and simulcast right here on our YouTube channel. 4 in the NFC. But, Charles, we're going to start with a game that doesn't have either one as undefeated. we thought we would prior to the season. And we're talking about Ravens Cowboys. Who would have thought a must-win situation for both? And basically it's even, but Cowboys are a 1-point dog at home. Big Chuck, let's start right there. Your take on this game.
I like the Cowboys in this spot. The narrative's going to be the Ravens cannot possibly go 0-3, but I have Lamar running for his life with that Dallas defense just overwhelming this shaky Ravens offense, creating multiple turnovers, short fields for the Cowboys. So I always like them as always like a team at home as a dog. They're a short dog in this spot. So yeah, give me the Cowboys +1. Plus the Cowboys get back Jake Ferguson to help out on the offense. So that's a crucial part to this Dallas offense. So yeah, +1 for the Cowboys.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because, AB, when you've got a really good tight end, then it takes the pressure off the wideouts. The CeeDee Lamb, yeah, he got his money, but he's been very, very frustrated outside of the long touchdown catch he had against the Saints. How big of a deal, AB, is what Charles just said, having Ferguson back who kind of controls the middle of the field?
It's huge, and I'll tell you where the biggest part of it comes from is running the football. That's Dallas's issue. They cannot run the football, and running opens up the passing, right? It's easy. If you're playing Dallas and you're just going to sit there and you know that they can't run, well, you just drop back in a cover 2, cover 3 shell, run a nickel or a dime and say, okay, Dak, well, throw right into us. But now when you start going with a 12 personnel, you've got 2 tight ends out there, guys that can block, it opens up so much more for you. So
it really feels like to me, as I was handicapping this game, and yes, Japan, you're going to get the cash with the coach today, baby. I've got a bunch of picks on the show. I was thinking to myself, how many times have we seen guys in the last couple of years where Dallas, they'll get beat badly, regular season, never the playoffs, regular season, and they come back and just lay the smackdown on somebody after a bad loss at home. This is exactly that spot. So, AB, if Lamar Jackson is coming to town and he did nothing last week except lose a double-digit lead, I'm feeling shootout today because I feel like both teams want to get off that schneid.
I'm going the opposite route. I'm feeling on the under here. All right. I'm going to go with Dallas and Baltimore on the under because I think you're going to see Dallas have to try to run the football because the problem is that if your offense is quick, all right, 3 and out, and you run 17 seconds off of it, you got nothing. Well, you just hand it right over to Baltimore, and look what happens when Dallas's defense is on the field for that long, right? So running the football means controlling the game. That's what running the football does, and I don't care who you are. You can't win without running the football. So I think they're going to do it. Baltimore is going to look to do it. I think you're going to see 2 teams that battle in between the 20s and take long, sustained drives here.
And here on DTL in the morning, we separate our picks. We'll get to those in a couple of minutes. But then props, and maybe or maybe not, we'll have a prop from this game. That's what you call professional tease right there, Big Chuck, a professional tease. Now, game number 2, you talk about running the football. And this one, it has so many layers to it. And it almost, when you look at what happened to Tua last week, there's been so many headlines this week, Chuck, about maybe Matthew Stafford from the Rams now that they've lost everybody. Maybe Russell Wilson traded from the Steelers, but the Dolphins will travel all the way to Seattle, a team that gets forgotten about all the time. But the Seahawks are 2-0, and they're only laying 4.5 today with a Dolphins team that if you give me Skylar Thompson, I'm betting against them all day long. Are we overestimating how big of a difference this is between Tua, who's out, and Thompson?
Possibly, because I think the Dolphins are in a nice spot as dogs coming into this one. So, yeah, it's a big drop off from Tua to Skylar Thompson just based off his chemistry with his offensive weapons. But I think for a couple of weeks or so, Skylar Thompson can kind of navigate the ship. So, and plus we have the Seahawks that traveled east coming back home. And then I'm always leery of Gino getting more than 3 points also because he tends to just like to give turnovers, a lot of turnovers. So I think this is going to be a focused Dolphins team who had 10 days off to game plan for the Seahawks team. So I'm kind of liking them as a dog in this spot.
The reason we have them here, AB, is because depending on how they play today, it could have a ripple down effect throughout the entire league. The Steelers have 2 former starting quarterbacks. Justin Fields has his team undefeated, but it doesn't mean he's played fantastic Do you think the way Skylar Thompson plays today will directly affect what the Dolphins do moving forward in the next few days?
I think that what they're going to look to do is exactly what you just said, the Steelers model. And what the Steelers model has been is don't turn the ball over and create turnovers. That's the only way that Miami's going to win today. The problem with a backup quarterback for Miami is that Miami has the most difficult offensive playbook to master. There are formations like crazy with this offense, and there are so many things that go into this playbook. I'm telling you, a normal NFL playbook is this big. Miami's is this big. That's the most difficult part. So you're going to see an offense that is scaled way down just because it takes time playing in this offense to get it down. Veterans would take time to understand it in full and be able to operate it. And Seattle's defense, they're ball hawks, dude. Like, they could take the ball away from you, but they can also give it up. That's what you have to do. Stop the run and force Seattle into turnovers. If you don't, it's going to be a long day.
I think that we forget about how complex these NFL offenses are. And we just think that everybody can move around team to team to team and everybody's going to be all good. It just simply does not work that way, to AB's point. Now, there are two matchups today, gentlemen, two that have undefeated against undefeated. We could have a 2-hour and 15-minute game, Charles, in Pittsburgh today. The Steelers, they play a certain kind of way, the way they've always done it, different than everybody else. They're at home against the undefeated Chargers. They're coming in. Justin Hebert has not had to do a whole heck of a lot because J.K. Dobbins has been fantastic under Jim Harbaugh. 2-0 against 2-0. Chuck, how do you see this game?
Well, everybody's expecting a defensive battle. That's what has been put out there in the press. Everyone's back in defensive battle. We possibly could actually see some points when it gets so low. We could actually see some points, but I kind of like the Steelers in this one, especially with Hebert coming in banged up. He had the plantar fasciitis, then he got banged up against the Panthers last weekend. So I like this Steelers defense to get after them, kind of control the on their side of the ball as well. Justin Fields does just enough. So I think this defense is going to wreak havoc on this Chargers offense, take away the run game, force Hebert to have to throw the ball. And then I'm seeing the Steelers just kind of, do what they do. If they have to win by field goals, that's just how the Steelers win.
Just enough in air quotes. AB, is it okay? Is it good enough if you're Mike Tomlin and the Steelers to say good enough is going to get us to where we want to go?
It's worked, right? Like, I mean, his model has worked. Here's the difficult part. So the Steelers have a great defense in terms of creating turnovers, but Justin Herbert doesn't throw many interceptions. That's just not him. The Chargers actually run a somewhat safe offense, and he's a good quarterback. But as Charles mentioned, he is banged up. We don't know, how banged up he is in full. Look, I mean, it's hard to go against the team with the better quarterback. I'll roll with the Chargers here, but it's not the most confident play. This game could get weird. It could get weird, man.
It really could. Yeah. I could feel some like 18-14, 19-30, some stupid score like that.
But one thing to remember, too, is, like, look at the chart. Like, the Chargers have been traveling the country, like, every week. Yep. Like, it's crazy. They've been going West Coast to full East Coast, back, forth. And the Steelers, all their wins have been on the road. Like, this is a weird game, man.
It really is. Denver, and then who did the Steelers beat? Oh, Atlanta. So they went to Atlanta, and then they went to Denver. And
they
if you
did
guys
what the
don't
Eagles
think
couldn't.
It matters, what's that?
They did what the Eagles couldn't. They beat Atlanta.
Don't get me started on Philadelphia today. The Saints may or may not be my best bet. Who knows? But I do like, real quick, guys, before we get to the last game, and then we'll get to our picks. But the NFL, the way they spread it out today, can we please do this every single week? 7 early at 1 o'clock, 2 at 4:05, 3 at 4:25. So we don't have to load up on 12 early games and have 2 to pick from late, and then you got to bet games that you don't want to bet. It happens to all of us. Now, speaking of a game, and AB, I'm going to start with you on this one, that most people don't want to bet. It's 2-0 and C.J. Stroud against, and this is kind of a storyline to me about if you change your address, if you change the people you're looking at, if you change a vibe, maybe you can start playing good. And that's exactly what Minnesota has done inside their own camp. Both 2-0, very important. One from the AFC, one from the NFC. Your take.
This is going to be a game that is just there's really great coaching on the inside. Like, the chess battle is going to be a lot of fun because it's going to look like one thing in the first quarter, and then it's going to look completely different the second quarter, and then it's going to look completely different in the second half. They're going to have to adjust in real time. Uh, you want to keep riding Minnesota, especially being at home, but there's something with this Texans team, man. Like, they D'Amico Ryan's the head coach. He brings that juice, dude, and people believe in it. Give me Houston. I'll ride them until they tell me not to.
When I watch this dude walk up and down the sidelines, he just looks like he knows what's going on.
Yep.
And he looks like he has delegated really, really well. Also, when he smiles, when he pops guys on top of the head, he's a guy you want to play for. And he's got the respect because he's already done it on the field at a really, really high level, which most of the time doesn't always happen. It's like Michael Jordan said, I can't be a coach in the NBA. I expect everybody to be right here. Well, D'Amico clearly has gotten through to his players. They love playing for him, and I think he's going to be in Houston as a head coach, Big Chuck, for many, many years to come. But now they got to take that next step. They made it to the playoffs a year ago, but now they're the hunted, no longer the hunters. How does that change any approach you see for this game?
Yeah, I definitely undersold this Texans team. They've looked very nice coming out in weeks 1 and 2, but the more and more I look at this game, I think it may be more difficult than I originally anticipated. I'm more leaning towards this Vikings side as home dogs. I thought we may see a under, but I'm thinking we may see some points. So yeah, the target's definitely on the Texans' back, especially when you come out 2-0, you impress. They're a really good team, really good. Like I said, I undersold them when we did our futures videos. I thought that they would come out and kind of have that sophomore slump, but I kind of been proven wrong. But I think this may be a little stumble, but could only help build them as a team going forward if they were to stumble to this Viking side.
Shout out to Prezant AB. Likes the Vikes to go 3-0. Charles likes points today. What about you?
I can't hate it, right? I mean, how could you say a single negative thing about Minnesota? And with both of these teams, absolutely, they could score. Whoever wins the offensive line battle is going to win this game. Whoever can run the football. So if you see that early, if you see one team that's dominating the offensive line, they'll win this game.
Maiden Focus brings up Jaden Naylor in the chat. And when you play on a team that also has Justin Jefferson, why are more people not talking about Addison AB or Naylor so far this season?
Well, a lot of people just really aren't talking about Minnesota, right? But that's how you go about it, is you're like, okay, well, I guess we need to pay attention to these dudes and this offense, and that's really the biggest part. And now that we are, you'll get all the attention in the world. Keep winning, dude. It'll come.
You're damn right. Shout out to Reed. He says Nico over. Man, do I love Nico. Oh, my goodness, Nico. He was a beast last week in that grinded-out game against Chicago. And then JJ over. It's hard to argue against that. Last week, a 97-yard touchdown. If you haven't seen the back umpire that was running with JJ on that, you guys got to go back and watch it. Find it on YouTube, wherever. It's one of the most amazing videos you'll ever see from a referee who ran faster than JJ did last week. That was cool. All right, gentlemen, those are our 4 featured games today. But we've got a ton of picks, and I'm fired up because I got to play today. And, Charles, I'm going to start with you. We're going to divide yours up. I want to start just in Dallas. That's the game everybody's talking about. It's basically a pick 'em, but Cowboys at most books are getting 1. Tell me why you like the Cowboys, sir.
Point blank, getting the Cowboys as home dogs. Plus, I always like it when these lines flip, and so much everyone is on this Ravens team. Like I said, this Ravens team, there's no way that they can go 0-3 under Harbaugh. That's just not going to happen. The world would collapse if that happened. So, I think the Cowboys' defensive line against this Ravens offensive line is going to be key. I think they're going to put tons of pressure on Lamar. He's going to be running around, creating turnovers, giving the Cowboys short field. So I definitely like the Cowboys as home dogs in this spot against the Ravens. I could definitely see them coming out dominating. I was also tempted to put to get Lamar with an interception or a fumble. I could even see some fumbles from Lamar also. So I definitely think we're going to see plenty of turnovers in this game.
Charles, that's all well and good, and it's always nice that people get along and the crew's always moving in the same direction. However, when Michael Knox says this, AB is going 3-0 today. Well, I've got an issue with that, Michael, because me and AB have ourselves a little gentleman showdown today. Because I like the over in this game. AB likes the under. I'm a gentleman. AB, I will allow you first to explain yourself.
I think that this game is featuring two teams that are kind of in must-win mode. Baltimore especially, right? And if you look, the problem with both of these teams from 30,000 feet in the air is that their offense has not been great and their defense has been stuck on the field all day long. So how do you fix that? All right, you run the football and you control the clock. And I think that you're going to see Dallas do that. And I think you're going to see Baltimore do that. And you're going to see two teams that are going to say, I don't care about scoring 48 points. We need to just win this game, and I need to keep you off the field because the best defense against Lamar Jackson is your offense, and the same thing against the Cowboys. You can't score if you're on the sideline unless, well, you give it to the defense, but that's going to be the approach. So I think that you're going to see a lot of clock running in this game, and you're going to see a lot of safe throws to the boundaries, keep it flag routes, keep everything to the sideline so that it's either your guy catches it or it's incomplete.
And the more you talked, the longer you talked, the more people in the chat had your back. Rick, so sorry, coach. I'm on AB's side. Michael says, just send the money to AB right now. Stop it. Just stop it. You almost had me going to the other side. I'm going to stand pat.
I say that, and it'll be, 2020 in the first quarter.
So last week, the Saints game, I played the Cowboys minus the 6. When the game started, like when a game starts in the NFL, you kind of know how it's going to go. And I was like, why didn't I take the over? And then somebody on the crew did have it. I just, and this is more of a gut feel. I can't say anything about what AB just said. He's absolutely right. Spot on with everything. My gut tells me one of these two teams, and Prasant said Lamar is 20-1. If that number is correct against the NFC in his career, that would be amazing. Didn't see that one in my research, but it could be true. But I'm telling you this right now, that if somebody jumps out to a big lead, that's how the over can come in. And the way the Cowboys played last week, I think you're going to see a lot of the Ravens running backs and tight ends and wide receivers just doing crossing patterns all day long because the Cowboys had no clue where it was going. So that's why I like the over 47.5. I could see it like tied at 24 going into overtime, just like last night. If you guys watched Colorado, amazing finish. If you had the over, fantastic. If you had the under, brutal bad beat. All right, so me and AB will settle it on the field. So, Big Chuck, let me come back to you. Because in New Orleans, you think there's going to be a lot of points scored today between the Saints and the Eagles. Explain yourself.
Nolans, yeah. The total has cashed the over in 3 of their last 4 combined games. And on this fast surface with the Eagles averaging 27.5 points and the Saints 45.5 team points per game, I'm going to back a shootout in the Big Easy. Yeah, give me the over 49 between the Eagles and the Saints.
Apparently, AB just wants to fight with everybody this morning because now, AB, you're going lockstep against Big Chuck. Explain yourself.
Big Chuck, it's your turn now, pal. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I'm going to go Eagles Saints under 49.5. Look, if you've watched the Eagles offense, it's not a high-flying offense of what we saw 2 years ago. Not saying they can't do it, but with A.J. Brown out, did you see how far that Eagles offense comes in, right? And then the New Orleans Saints, I mean, are you going to score on every drive in every game all season long? Like, there's no way that this continues. But, I mean, I've got to give him credit, man. Like, Derek Carr's playing great. My man, Alvin Kamara's playing good. The Saints are looking great. But I think you're going to see a game where both offenses, it just takes a little bit more time to get in the end zone. And with that, and especially if you're talking about running the ball on both sides, that means the clock's going. I'll roll with the under here, man.
Well, Edward in the chat, AB, says Eagles have been exposed. Hurts over on rushing today based off of what you just said. They've got to go to what they know works. And Jalen Hurts on the ground, it worked. So take a look at that number if you guys are looking at a few props from this game today. We'll get to our props a little bit later in the show. So, Big Chuck, you've gone with your 2. Now, by the way, Soupy apparently breaks the tie as far as the crew goes. He likes the Saints over 49.5. Which has got to make you feel better, AB, certainly.
That was good.
Just catching strays on a Sunday morning. We just went over 1,000 people watching live. Thank you so very much for getting up on a Sunday morning. You guys just absolutely amaze me how many get up and are so loyal to us. Hit that like button on your way in. All right, AB, you got one more play, and it's a team that not a lot of people have been talking about through the first 2 weeks. Had a great, fun game, 2-point loss to the Texans in week 1. What do you see today with the Colts?
Go with the Colts, 1-point favorite at home against the Chicago Bears. I think the Colts beat the Bears just straight up. First off, just looking at the game, if you had to pick a winner, I think that the Colts are a little bit better of a team than Chicago. I'm not saying 100% it happens, but that's just what I see. Now, number 2, the Colts offense can score and in a hurry. All right. The Bears defense can create turnovers, but they can also give up a hell of a lot of yards and a hell of a lot of points. I think it's going to be a really fun game, and I think it's going to be back and forth. But I'm going to go with Anthony Richardson because this dude could chuck it, whether you like him or not. And I don't know how much longer we're going to have him because he always gets hurt, unfortunately. But when he's in there, Anthony Richardson is not afraid to throw it down the damn field. So I'll go with the Colts -1 here. It'll be a fun one, though. It's going to be a real fun game.
I really think so as well. I also think that Caleb Williams, is going to start to realize that the NFL is about adjustments. In college, talent can usually win week after week after week, but now they're going to watch that film, AB, and they're going to figure out things that he does well, and so he's going to have to figure out how to do other things well. And it'll be nice to see how he makes those adjustments as he navigates his first season, just like Anthony Richardson did a season ago. Some really nice comments in the chat. Carl says that loyalty comes from good results. Well, we appreciate it. Austin says we are #the crew, coach. You're damn right. It's all because of this. And that's how we continue to grow. So thank you once again very, very much. All right, we've got with Soupy. He likes the Raiders, by the way, -5 today at home. So the only picks left are mine. And I like the Bucs -6. Because, AB, when you look at Tampa today, they're at home against the Broncos, a team that has not looked good at all. They lost in Seattle, and then last week in a very pathetic, emotionless game against the Steelers. But the Bucs -6, AB, is that too many points?
No, this Bucs team is fun, man. Like they're really, really fun. Baker Mayfield's playing great. And also, if you're looking at interceptions, Bo Nix has been chucking them. And I like Bo Nix, man. He's cool. He was fun. Well, he wasn't that much fun at Auburn, but he was fun at Oregon. But, dude, he's throwing interceptions left and right. So, yeah.
Big Chuck. Bo Nix is living in the no-fly zone.
Dude, I swear to God, that man's renting an apartment over there.
Big Chuck, are you a believer in Tampa? You live in the area. You're an NFC South guy.
No, not at all. I actually like the Broncos in this spot to cover that +6. So my apologies, Coach, but I think this is the day that the Bucs they may win, but I think it may be a field goal game. So, but I'm rooting for you. I am definitely rooting for you. Plus, Monaco scored, so that's even better. That's even next level to the next level, 2-1.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chuck. You know how to get right to my heart. That one was into the 68th minute. I was kind of sweating it a little bit. So we cashed Monaco over 2.5. So we're off to a pretty good personal start for your boy today. Thank you, Big Chuck. Now, I told you the Saints, and whether it's Liddy, I think Japan, they all want a shot at the title, AB. But you know what I did? Because as I was looking at that number, and the Eagles certainly have all the talent to play a tight game, I didn't want to worry about it. And I know -145 is a little juicy, but what do we always say? Sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze. So I'm taking the points out. And I just think the Saints will win the game. AB, everything I've seen through the first 2 weeks has Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, and all these guys flying high. What would tell me that what I saw with the Eagles allowing the Falcons and the fighting Kirk Cousins to drive 70 yards in 35 seconds, why would I think they're going to be able to stop the Saints today, AB?
Completely agree with you, man. Like there's nothing that's going to say, hey, you should just completely ride the Eagles, forget the Saints. The Saints are playing unbelievable football. Unbelievable.
Incredible. Austin, by the way, wants to talk more about Andy Dalton. No, Austin, we cannot talk more about Andy Dalton at all. But
we're going to talk about him in a second.
Fade, baby. Capital F. fade. My last couple, I'm going with the Seahawks -4.5. -4.5 may be my least favorite spread of all time. Maybe a little bit less than -5.5. I just hate those numbers for whatever reason. But if you're telling me that the Seahawks are going to be at home today, 2-0, and that Miami is going to come in with Skylar Thompson and they're going to stay within a touchdown, I'm going to call you crazy. So I'll take the Seahawks. Then I like the over between the Lions and the Cardinals. I know several people in the chat already are talking about Arizona as a potential upset alert today. I don't think it would be that much of an upset, AB. I like the over. I think it's 51.5 was the last number I had, if I can see the screen. 51.5 -110. Thank you, producer man. But AB, I see a lot of people on social media today talking about the Lions getting upset and how good Arizona, 28 against the Bills, last week 41 against the Rams. Would you consider this an upset today if Arizona beats the Lions at home?
No, not at all. Arizona's a good football team. Look, Kyler Murray, for all the jokes that we make, is a good quarterback, and he's playing well so far this year. And they just figured out the connection between him and Marvin Harrison Jr. last week, went for 2 touchdowns. No, not at all, man. Arizona can play with anybody.
Marvin Harrison also needs to realize that there are 3 other quarters in the actual football game. The dude went 4 for 130 and 2 scores in the first 15 minutes and then did nothing else the rest of the game. But they didn't need to because they had a huge lead over Detroit. Charles, I think points. Tell me I'm wrong.
I was going to take this play. I saw you had already grabbed it, so I left it to you. I'm right there with you. I think we see points, 2 high-powered offenses. Lions are definitely – I'm shocked that still didn't go over last week against the Bucs. So I think it gets over in the desert. So that's just what they do is they score high, put up points in the desert, so in the big toaster. So, yeah, I love that 51.5.
I love it when you make – like you and Raphael, whenever you use phrases, it's so funny, and it just makes me laugh. You're not trying to be cool. You just are. Raphael really tries to be cool. He really tries to be cool. You know what else guys would be cool? It'd be really cool if people would turn on the notifications. And tonight around 6:58 p.m. Eastern time, you just turn on Stadium or turn on our YouTube channel because, AB, you made this glorious 2-minute open that really documents everything we're doing here at DTL. It really gets the palette going here at DTL. But we would be remiss if on a night when the Chiefs are playing in Atlanta and we have a 5-star chef on our crew, if we didn't get our palate wet right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest installment of Stadium Eats, our one and only Seabass.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to more Stadium Eats. We're in Atlanta, and the good people of Atlanta tell me that when you're at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the best thing down there is the burnt end nachos. Now, I love burnt ends, and I love nachos, so let's make some.
Since I don't have a smoker, we're doing this in the oven. Some mustard as a binder, your favorite barbecue rub. Just don't forget the Bassett's Blend all-purpose hot little liquid smoke for flavor. Then in the oven, 275 for about 3 hours. Once that comes out, let it rest a bit. Then we're going to slice it. Look how juicy this looks, so tender. Cube it up, back into the pan, a little bit of barbecue sauce and some butter. Cook that on 400 degrees till it comes out looking like this. We're doing nachos, so we need some pico. Now you can find all the ingredients and all the specific measurements on my YouTube channel. For the nachos, we got blue corn tortilla chips. Go down with a layer of cheese, more chips, more cheese, double layer if you know, you know. Bake them till they look like this. Now it's time to build our nachos. We got our pork belly burnt ends, a little bit of chipotle queso. You can also find that on my YouTube channel. Top it with some lettuce, that fresh pico we just made, barbecue sauce, and some cream. Oh my goodness. If this is anything close to what they've got at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you're in for a treat.
Now, this is what I call a plate of nachos. Those burnt ends smell ridiculous. Let's go ahead and get some of that good stuff.
Wow.
The plate was the size of him.
Yeah.
And
AB,
that's not a
I'm just
complaint.
I'm trying to imagine that when you were, because you're in charge of putting all the really nice outer stuff on it. I don't even know how you do it. But as you're watching that and knowing how much you just love food, did you get a little bit excited? Be honest.
My goodness. Oh, yeah. I do it every time, man. Like, he's making burn ends, dude. Like, you're smoking those things for however long. Dude, you got the nachos with it. Oh, I'm telling you, I've got his the Bassett seasoning. I've got 2 different flavors, and they're phenomenal. Like, I'm not even just saying that because he's our boy. Like, they're good, dude. He's a great chef.
We say it all the time. He's the only 5-star chef in the game. So many of you in the chat, damn, Seabass, next level. Damn, Seabass. That's what we're talking about. The whole crew understands. So tonight, especially in a stadium that does not have Chick-fil-A, because it's a Sunday, who makes a building and puts like 8 Chick-fil-A's in it, and the main tenant plays on Sundays? Who does that? They did it, right?
I know you have to roll over to the CNN Center food court. If anybody's ever been in there, if you know, you know. Yeah, that was tough.
It's a nice place, though. It's a nice place, though.
Yeah.
It's a nice place, though. Seabass, you're the man. Of course, tonight, Chiefs and Falcons, as Seabass gets us ready for a big one down there in Atlanta. The Falcons coming off that big comeback win in the Philadelphia, and the Chiefs coming in undefeated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've done our straight picks, and there's a lot of them today, and I know we're going to have a great freaking day. But also, a lot of you don't like straight picks. Some of you like to prop it up. Now, my guys are getting serious with the props today. And this isn't just throwing something against the wall. No. Very calculated. So, Charles, I'm going to start with you. Give me your first 2, because then I'm going to chop AB's up, because he has a lot of really good ones. And I want to make sure people have their paper and their pen, and they're ready to go. So, Big Chuck, give me your first 2.
Eagles and Saints game, Devontae Smith over 71.5 receiving yards. He had 7 receptions in the first 2 games, and he's averaged 80 yards per game receiving, and he's the main target. Yeah, I love this one, over 71.5 for Devontae. Then Rashid Shaheed, over 51.5 again receiving yards. He's been the Saints' big play threat, averaging 84.5 receiving yards, and against his Phillies defense, I expect at least 52 receiving yards. So Devontae over 71.5 and Rashid Shaheed over 51.5 receiving yards.
Boom. I'll go with mine right now. Lamar Jackson. I think with the over coming in today in Dallas, where I think it's going to come in, that Lamar Jackson is going to have to do more than he did last week. I think last week is one of the craziest no cash props that I've ever had. But I think this week they're going to want to use Lamar Jackson a lot, because they're going to run a lot of players down the field, and that's going to leave, if he can get outside the pocket, a lot of big spaces for Lamar Jackson. I also like Alvin Kamara, his combo number today, and it's a big number. But the way the Saints offense is working, and I think the Eagles will play with them and have that sped up game. Give me Kamara, and I didn't like his rushing number. I didn't like his receiving number, but I like them together, because either way they go, you know they're utilizing this cat all the time. Now, you saw DG's up there on the screen. So let me come back to you, Big Chuck, before we give the floor to AB. What are your other 2, sir?
We're going to go to the desert. Jamison Williams, over 51.5 receiving yards. He's slowly becoming Goff's favorite target, and he's averaged 100 yards per game so far in his first 2 games. Now we get 51.5. Lock me in. Lastly, this one hurts my heart, but Derek Carr to throw an interception. He has 3 career versus the Eagles. He gave one up last weekend against the Cowboys, and I just have that feeling, sneaking suspicion, he's going to throw one to the Eagles defense. So Jamison Williams over 51.5 receiving yards, and Derek Carr to throw an interception.
Don't put up AB screen yet. I've got a question to ask him. Anytime somebody plays an interception prop, I got to come over to our resident expert. Should Carr be considered a good candidate for an interception in the no-fly zone today, AB?
Very, very much. That's an excellent pick.
Look at that, Big Chuck. You got AB's validation. Always makes you feel good in that world, doesn't it, big boy? And I cannot wait to get pissed off tonight, because every time the Chiefs are on a primetime game and we do the no-fly zone, and I see exactly where he's going to throw it, and then in the game in the second quarter, you got that glazed over look from Pat. Oh, I didn't know that they were going to catch that ball. And he always throws an interception now.
Always. It wins the game. Like, I know.
But it keeps them from covering. That's what always pisses me off. All right. Now, you guys know we have a full Sunday, and you give AB time, he's going to find some fire picks. So, AB, I'll help you navigate through. I'll break it up for you a little bit, but you've got a bunch of props, and I looked through all of them, and I can see a reason for every single one. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. You better write these down because we're not going back over them. I don't think so anyway. AB, you're up, big boy. What do we got?
All right, so first off, let's start with the first three up here. All right, you see the combined INTs. Just hold on that for a second because there's something I need to ask. But first three, Nick Folk, Titans kicker, over 1.5 field goals at -105. This is as much of a must-win for the Tennessee Titans as there's going to be in a long time. Brand new coaching staff. They've lost every game since they got here. They're going up against Malik Willis, all right, the guy they just cut or traded 2 weeks ago. They have to win this game. Nick Folk, one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL. They're going to use every opportunity available to put a field goal and put another one and put another one. So take Titans kicker Nick Folk over 1.5 field goals. Next, Titans quarterback Will Levis is throwing an interception. The Green Bay Packers are one of the best teams in the NFL. Their defense at taking interceptions. Levis will put one up, even if they win the game. I like Levis. All right, got things to work on, but interceptions come with them. And then finally, the last one you see right up here on the screen, Andy Dalton going against the Raiders on the road in Las Vegas. Look, Andy Dalton seems like a nice guy. Take his girl down to the malt shop and get a milkshake, right, with his Letterman jacket on. But he's throwing a pick tonight, baby. It's happening. The Raiders are going to take one, get Dalton for -125. Now, Coach.
Yes.
What I bring to you
Let's
and
go.
Crew. You ready?
Yes.
So the last 2 weeks, I have gotten my brains kicked in terms of betting. It's been bad, real bad.
Yeah,
now,
I hear
a
you.
year ago, we shaved my head on air to get the curse and get it out of here, and it worked. I don't have any clippers handy this morning. So what I ask is this. I need the crew. I say all the time, they're the best crew in the game. We all do, and everyone does.
Yes.
So the crew, I come humbly to you, okay? These are the 4 that I've come up with for combined interceptions today. I want you to help me pick the one that you like the most, all right?
Okay. Yep.
Ravens, Cowboys, all right? Lamar and Dak, plus 115. And the way this works, you've never done it, we just need 2 interceptions. Lamar can throw 2, Dak can throw 2, could be 1 and 1, whatever. Just need 2 or more from either of these guys, okay?
Yep.
So Bears, Colts, Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson, plus 100. Texans, Vikings, CJ Stroud, Sam Darnold, plus 105. Or right there, Big Chuck, I agreed with you. Derek Carr, Jalen Hurts at plus 125. So I wanted to put those up. And like I said, number one, apologies for getting whooped lately in my picks. And I humbly come to you to help me. So put your answers in the chat, which one you like the most.
Well, first and foremost, I will say this, there's a reason we have a crew. There's a reason I can't get this out of my throat also. Because when somebody falls down or has a cold stretch, then somebody else picks them back up. So you're not on your own. So nobody's going to fault you for that. Secondly, a lot of people in the chat are already weighing in. I will weigh in with this.
Yep.
The reason I would not pick Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson is I think they're going to keep it close to the vest. I don't think the Bears are going to allow Caleb to really air it out. So I think that's going to be a conservative game. I don't like that one. What I would do is go with Lamar Jackson and Dak because I think they're both going to be trying to push it down the field. I think they're both going to make a mistake. So I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson and Dak. Keep the chat going. DG agrees with me. Big Chuck, where are you going with AB's choices?
I like that one, but I would think Derek Carr and Jalen Hurts, I think they're going to really be throwing the ball in the dome. So, yeah, I like that one. Plus, it's plus 125, so Carr and Hurts to both throw interception.
AB, can we start doing this every week? Because I kind of like this. I like the choices, and then I like the chat to weigh in because we have a lot of smart people that watch this show, AB.
Oh, God. We absolutely – that's what I'm saying. Like, It's no joke. Like, I come to you for a reason. There's a lot of friends that I don't text. I don't want any of their picks whatsoever. But the crew, I love it. And I'll tell you what, I mean, obviously we're going to do it tonight. There's only, 2 quarterbacks. But Monday Night Football, there's 2 games on Monday night. So 100%. We can absolutely do this and keep it going every week. Yes.
So, you know what? That may have fallen through my – no, we're still good. I thought maybe they were going to do that stupid thing where they start one early. Remember a couple of years ago? They started one like at 6 and then one at 8. And I was like,
they're like 30 minutes apart. It's like, I think it's like 7:30 Eastern and 8. Yeah.
8:15.
So it's the Jaguars and the Bills and the Bengals and the Commanders.
And we will be live on Stadium. So I think how we're going to do that particular show, AB, is we'll do like the first 30 minutes will be Jacksonville and Buffalo. And then the last 30 minutes will be the Commanders and the Bengals. But here begs the question, the most important question. AB, have we ever had somebody get into the club 2 times on one night?
No. It's time.
I believe it's time for history to be made. Big Chuck, do you think that we've got anyone that could pull off the daily double, as Raphael likes to say, and get into the club twice?
Absolutely. We're loaded with talent at DTL. If anyone can do it, we can do it.
That's why you're a team player, Chuck. That's why you're a team player right there. By the way, for those of you who may have had a work trip or you didn't watch this the last few days, first of all, what in the world are you doing? Second of all, AB, you get to go first for the foreseeable future until somebody else joins you and Tina in the club. How do you feel about tonight? You get to go first with Chiefs and Falcons, and I'm sure you're going to take Kirk Cousins for a rushing touchdown at the first touch.
That would pay off nicely. Look, me and Peter are having a blast. We're just running the tab up. Don't worry about it. Hey, we're putting it all on the company here. So, yeah, we'll figure the payment out later. We'll figure that part out later. But I've already got my pick in for tonight already.
You do?
Yep.
Wow. Would you
Plus
care
plus 2,000.
Care to join? Would you care to tip us off a little bit?
Yep. He also throws interceptions.
Wow.
But he can run too.
Oh, no, you're not talking about Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Damn sure. That's for damn
I took
sure.
Michael Penix Jr. That's who it is. Michael Penix Jr.
Guzzle Money says, if I die, I die. Kirk Cousins. All right, real quick before we get the hell out of here so you guys can go do what you're going to do for the next couple of hours. If you're watching us on demand right before the 1 o'clock shows, enjoy that as well. We're only going to do our straight picks one more time, 10 seconds or less, one single solitary nugget, and then we're going to get the hell out of Dodge as well. Big Chuck, start us off. What do you like today?
Give me the Cowboys +1. I love them as a home dog in this spot. I think the defense gets after Lamar, causes havoc. Then the Eagles and Saints over 49. I think we're going to see tons of points in the Big Easy.
I agree. Big Scott says, hey, Coach, how do you like that? Will always be one of the great one-liners of all time. AB, coming over to you, big boy. What do you like? Give me those 3.
Colts -1 against the Bears, Eagles Saints under 49.5, and the Ravens Cowboys under 47.5.
And Big Soup, he likes the Raiders at home -5 today as the Carolina Panthers come to town. And he breaks the tie. He agrees with me on with Charles on the Eagles Saints over going head up against AB. And that scares me a little bit. Anytime Soupy is on either side, I want to jump on with AB very, very quickly. My 5, Bucks -6 at home. I just think that they're playing really, really well. And I think Denver struggles to score. So if the Bucks can get to 21, we cover. Saints on the money line. I'm taking the points out of it. Saints are playing great, and I believe in them. 91 points. The Eagles will not slow them down today. Seahawks at home welcoming in the Dolphins, the one-legged Dolphins, because they are not at full strength. Skylar Thompson will be the starter today. Doesn't scare me at all. Minus the 4.5. Then I like 2 overs. Lions, Cardinals, late game in the desert. Arizona, 41 last week, 28 week 1. Lions will have to keep up. I like that 51.5. And then the Cowboys over 47.5. All right, gentlemen, final thoughts as we head into a very busy week 3, 7 early games, 3 at 4:05. 2 at 405 and 3 at 425. Big Chuck, your final thoughts heading in to today.
Yeah, just remember, NFL, a lot of it's public perception, so don't get fooled into thinking teams that should do something just because they're supposed to. Remember, these dogs have been cashing like crazy. Don't be surprised if we see some more today.
AB, Scott says it's great to be back, man. I missed you guys. Scott, we missed you too. AB, your final thoughts.
Scott, we definitely miss you, buddy. Yeah, look, the NFL season, it's broken into quarters, all right? First 4 games, second 4 games, third 4 games, 5 games, right? Like that you want to end that first one 3-1, 4-0, 2-2 at worst. So watch these teams over the next 2 weeks, how they finish that first quarter of the season. These games are important to get a good start. Steelers doing a great job.
To echo those sentiments, there are a lot of teams that are surprising through week 2. And you got to believe that behind closed doors, they're starting to get ticked off at shows like ours and say, wait a second, pump the brakes. Let's wait to see down the road just how good they are. One of those teams, certainly the Saints. They're going to take the Eagles, and you've got back-to-back a chance to beat Dallas and Philadelphia. That's going to be a big-time statement if they can get that done. What about the Chargers today? They're 2-0 under Jim Harbaugh. Can they get it done on the road against the Steelers? What about the Texans? Can they start off 3-0? So many teams that want to make a statement and say, you know what? It's not just about the Chiefs anymore. It's not just about the Bills anymore. We're here to show up and show out. Damn it, I love doing this show in the morning. Understand, tonight we are live on Stadium simulcast right here on our YouTube page. AB, finally, what did the crew at home select today that we all get to play together?
Coach, my boy, they're going with the Ravens -1. They're feeling Baltimore on the road.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Wow. Big Chuck. They went right against you. How do you feel about that?
I'm not surprised. People love the Ravens. They just love the Ravens. Plus, getting them as a short favorite, I'm not surprised.
Wow. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Charles actually being upset. That's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get. All right, it's time for us to get out of here, and you guys too. So, producer man, thank you for that one shot, and understand this. It's time for you to go out and pay it forward. Be kind to one another. Understand they will only have 2 hours and 8 minutes until kickoff of the first 1 o'clock Eastern game. So go get what you need to get and understand this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My Tiger Lumbo, my man from the Dirty Charles, my partner AB, producer man always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach. We grind for you so we can win with you. We'll see you tonight for Prime Time Live. All of it under the DTL universe. All of it today. Good luck.